Hello Year 9s and welcome to Food Preparation and Nutrition GCSE. As you can see from the opening slide, our fantastic kitchens have lots of space, brand new equipment, best technology, and also the teaching staff are there to help and support you through a GCSE which will actually be useful for every day of your life. So why might you consider taking this GCSE? Besides it being something that you're going to do every day for the rest of your life, it's also, you need to think about why you like to cook. Is it because you just love eating? That's a very good reason. Or you want to look after your health and your diet, or you want to find out more about how different foods work together. There's so many different reasons why you might choose this subject. And also, it's not just about being a chef or maybe making food for your friends and family. There's so many other reasons why you might choose this subject. And it goes very well with lots of other subjects, as we're going to find out as we go through this presentation. So what will you actually be studying if you do choose food as a GCSE? There are 5 core topics which are integrated in both your practical work and your theory lessons. They cover food and nutrition and health, food science, food safety, food choice, and food provenance. All these areas are interlinked with each other, and the study of anything to do with food, it's impossible to avoid them. They also have lots of different links to other subjects, which you'll find later on in the presentation. So what do you do over those 2 years? Well, let me break that down for you into year 10 and year 11 because they are very different. In year 10, you're building up a lot of your skills and knowledge and understanding of the subject and developing those 5 core areas or topics that you'll be covering through your practical work. But there's so many other things going on in food as well as having people coming in to visit. So we have chefs coming in or different people in the community that are in part of the hospitality industry can come in and visit. We've also got exciting things after school weekends that you can choose to get involved with. Things like national culinary competitions. So these competitions happen all over the UK as well, Jersey, and you can take part in them. And they are really good practice as well for your exams in year 11. You can have an option of supporting the school in any of the events. In the years gone by, we've worked with the school production, working with things for the fashion show, and when I say things, I mean making buffets or canapes, and also we would love to get involved with the local community more. Now we've got the fantastic facilities to be able to serve the local community, so maybe old people's Christmas parties and things like that. There are lots of things that you can get involved with this subject. If you've got a passion for food, then this is the place to be. Those are extracurricular, but they all go towards helping you be a more confident chef. So I told you a little bit about what was going on after school and the things you can get involved in regarding the subject, but what are lessons like? Well, you have 3 lessons a week, so you're going to have a lot more time to be in the kitchen. One of those is a double lesson, so you get lots of time to be able to make more complex and interesting dishes. Also, the one theory lesson is usually delivered on computers or Chromebooks or in an IT suite, but we do have some workbooks too. As you can see from the picture there, that's from a mock exam. One of our students, they got lots of skill in there, as well as making his own sauce and setting a mixture with his pastry, making his own pasta, making the own filling, the potatoes, the salad dressing. There's so much work just in that dish there, and that was all completed within 2.5 hours and presented. He also made some focaccia as well to go with that. So that's the kind of standard that you're working towards. And as you can see on the photograph that's on the front side as well, everyone there is working. Everyone is completely engrossed in what they're doing. One student there is having a little look at me to see what I'm doing, taking a photograph, but they're all focused on completing their dish in the time they have. They are independent chefs working there. I'm so proud of every one of them, and I know that if you came into this department, we'd feel the same way about you. They don't come in like that. That's at the end of a 2-year course nearly, and you, as a student, you would learn to be able to work completely independently. So how is your subject assessed? If you choose to do food, preparation and nutrition, how are you going to gain the best grade at GCSE? Well, this subject is not only fantastic because it's the only GCSE that you can eat, it's also fantastic because 50% of it is actually done in lesson time. They're done through NEAs, non-exam assessments, and the first one in year 11 runs from September to just about half term, and in that time you have to create a scientific experiment with photographic evidence, as you can see in that picture there. And that is very guided, and there's workbooks to work through to make sure you have the best chance of getting the best grade and the best percentage passed. The next one runs after half term up to February, and that NEA is worth 35%, 35% of your GCSE, and you have to make 3 dishes. 3 dishes in around 3.5 hours. Last year it changed to 2 dishes because obviously we had COVID restriction, things like that. But usually it's 3 dishes in 3.5 hours. And then you have a research booklet and evaluation reports go with that. Obviously we need photographs of every stage that you make things, and that is your evidence to the examiner of what you have made and how you have done and the skills that you have demonstrated. So you can walk into the exam knowing that you've done the best you can to get that 50% before you even walk into the exam in June. Now the written exam is part multiple choice and then some extended question answers, and those of you that have been paying attention will know that from February till June you have time to revise and to practice and to make sure that you know exactly how to answer the questions, the style of questions in that exam. So we really work hard at the Quennevais at organising and planning to make sure you have the best possible chance of getting the highest grade you can. This is all ready for you to do. If you can come to every lesson and you turn up and you work hard, you will be successful in this GCSE. As I was just explaining, we're aiming for nothing short of excellence in this subject. It is a practical subject and we do have lots of fun, but it is rigorous and it is important that you are committed to both practical and theory work. It's an essential ingredient, pardon the pun, for success. You really do. And a lot of students, they come in and they are so passionate already about food that I see them coming in first thing in the morning. They can't wait to put their things in the fridge. They say, "See you later, miss." Such a good atmosphere in lessons. This picture shows when the Chair of Governors came round and had a look at one of our mock exams. We used our tasting room, which we have at the front of the department, and you can see the head of the department there, Mrs. Frost, as she's looking round all the different dishes that the students have created in a mock exam, which were outstanding. Every year we just get better, and I think the facilities in this school have just pushed the bar even further up. They are second to none. And food, I would say, is leading the way, especially on an island like Jersey. There are so many jobs. Even if you don't want to go into it, it might be a job that you can get working at the weekend, and if you've got a little bit of experience in a kitchen, then that's going to put you above everyone else. We'll talk a little bit about jobs in a minute. First of all, just wanted to share some more photographs of the students' work because they're so proud of what they've done. One of the questions this year was on street food, so that's why you can see some of the dishes presented in cardboard boxes and things like that, because they were trying to emulate what it might look like if it was being sold from a street van. which of course we are lucky enough to have our very own. So when we do the real exam, we hope to have the street food that the students present actually looking like it's being served from an actual van. So that's really lucky that that question came up this year. Also, the dishes that you see have to have a certain level of skill to make sure that the students reach their highest grade they possibly can. So we're looking at things like filleting their own fish, sectioning their own chicken, which are skills that we learn, and making own pasta, creating sauces, dressings, custards. That's a souffle there, a chocolate souffle in that photograph. So many different skills. And what's great is that we encourage students to show a range of them, as well as choosing dishes that they like to eat. I know for a fact that when people take this food home that they've made, I always say this, their families love them a little bit more. If you're taking dinner home, you are going to be loved a little bit more. Sometimes some of it doesn't make it home because it gets eaten on the bus, but mostly people are so proud, the students are so proud, they want to take it home to their friends and families and show what they've made. So the photographing is a very important part of the GCSE as well, because it is the evidence that we have to prove that the students have done those skills. Some of the photographs are overlapped because they've got the names on there of the students, so I just wanted to make sure they weren't on this slide. But as you can see, a real range of skills and expertise. Super, super proud. And there's more, because not only is this subject an edible learning subject, not only does this make your family and friends happy, there are so many links to other subjects that people forget about. The links to health and social care, there's a huge overlap of information about nutrition and health that your learning will cover in both subjects. That goes for PE as well. Their theory work goes into energy input and output and the foods that are suitable for that. A few years ago, there was a question about healthy eating for a sports person. So huge overlap in those two subjects. Obviously, science, food science, is a huge part as well, and from different how foods react to each other, because baking is basically chemistry. You have to get the ingredients right, the levels right, the weighing and measuring. There you go, another overlap. Maths there as well, timings, ratios. And the other subjects, the other option subjects it might overlap with is things like geography, because geography is about the world and how things grow, what food provenance is, sustainability. We're looking at GM foods, as well as the food shortages. There's so many overlaps with that subject as well. Art and photography. I always tell the students when they're presenting their dishes, it's almost like a piece of art. The way they put it on their plate, the way that they present it, needs to make someone think, oh yeah, I really want to eat that. So the presentation, we don't eat with our eyes literally, but we do eat with our eyes. We'll all know when we've walked past that cake shop and thought, my goodness, look at that. I didn't realize I needed one of them till I saw it. It is a visual experience, eating as well as the taste. So art and how we lay things out is also a taught lesson. Looking into other professions as well, which we'll talk a little bit more about, but other subjects like photography. The art of photographing food is very different to when you've made some food. But we also have to think about the angles and how we're best lighting the food, how we're best presenting that food as well. So there is an overlap there too. And French, bien sûr, because a lot of the language that we learn, a lot of the words are actually French words. I'm not going to go over them in my Rochdale accent now, but there's a huge overlap with the French vocabulary. They're just a few of the subjects that overlap. I could talk about it for far longer than I'm allowed, but if you ever wanted to question any subject, I could give you a reason why it overlaps with food. I know what you're going to say. Well, I don't really want to be a chef. I don't want to be a chef, so why should I take food? Besides it being one of the only subjects you will definitely use for the rest of your life, it also links to so many other professions, and I've just managed to squeeze on a few of them onto this slide, as well as the hospitality industry, which is huge on the island and all over the world. You could work on a cruise ship if you have got food qualifications. You can work in hotels, you can work in restaurants, you can work anywhere. But it also links on to science A levels and going on to be maybe a personal trainer or a food specialist, events management. Also, having an understanding of food can help you be a nurse or a healthcare worker. So many. I'm not going to bore you and go on and on with a big long list because it's there and you can read it. And also we have this amazing thing called the internet, which will be able to tell you all the jobs that are linked to food and nutrition. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me talking about a subject that I am super passionate about. And hopefully this will help make it a little bit easier for you to make your decision on if this is one of the options for you. Thank you.